And now, another episode from Dum Tar, Monster of the Parking Lot. 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 Dum Tar, Monster of a Parking Lot.
Public still kicking it for the public. So check the second verse. Yo, Cal, kick it.
Got me so drunk.
tell me who is to blame, yeah. If you take a look around, you can see it coming down. Gotta open up your eyes. All the things you do and say is coming back on you one day. Now it's time you realize, hey, you better watch what you do, 'cause it could come back to you. What goes around, it comes around. You better watch what you say, it could come back one day. What goes around, it comes around. You better watch what you do, 'cause it could come back to you. What goes around, it comes around. You better watch what you say, it could come back one day. What goes around, it comes around. Who's the man, who's the man? So tell me what I'm thinking, do you really understand the situation? Tell me, do you really give a damn about the things you do to get the things that you want? You turn around to people every day you're stealing, but your dirty tactics landed you in jail for killing. Yeah, you used to brag and say your life was kind of fat. Now the tables turn, it's time for you to watch your back. If you take a look around, you can see it coming down. Gotta open up your eyes. All the things you do and say is coming back on you one day. Now it's time you realize. Around comes back again. Watch what you do, 'cause it could come back to you. What goes around, it comes around. You better watch what you say, it could come back one day. What goes around, it comes around. Around comes back again. Watch what you do, watch what you do. Come back to you. What goes around, it comes around. Goes around, it comes around. You better watch what you say, it could come back one day. 'Cause what goes around, it comes around. Around comes back again. Watch what you do, yeah, it could come back to you. Joe Public signing on. But remember, you do it, you gotta pay for it. So just check yourself before you wreck yourself. Peace.
You know what scares me the most? Is it when it happens? When it comes over me, and I totally lose control. I like it.
blah blah. Is what the TV said to me. Next thing you know, I was sleeping happily. Blah blah blah. It's what my girlfriend said to me. Next thing you know, I was dreaming happily. It's what the TV said to me. Next thing you know, I was sleeping happily. It's what my girlfriend said to me. Next thing you know, I was dreaming happily. It's what the TV said to me. Next thing you know, I was sleeping happily. It's what my girlfriend said to me. Oh yeah.
dedication. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'ma change my impression. Yeah, well, I'm swinging his way.
Protect our phony baloney job, gentlemen. We must do something about this immediately. Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph? You watch your ass.
Gentlemen, please rest your sphincters.
Well put.
Thank you very much, sir.
Watch your
no fear, got no fear, got no fear. It's you, you make me wanna love you. You make me wanna love you. You make me get so ready. Ain't pull the trigger. As we go along our way, we could hide a little longer. Maybe they'll all go away. Now, as we go about our lives, we could hide a little longer. Maybe then we can survive. 'Cause you make me wanna love you. You make me wanna love you. You make me get so ready. Ain't pull the trigger. You make me wanna love you. You make me wanna love you. You make me get so ready. Ain't pull the trigger. You make me wanna love you. You make me wanna love you. You make me get so ready. Ain't pull the trigger.
Flash, we interrupt of Buffalo radio stations for the following presentation.
Let me tell you, baby, they was open for business.
From Diddy.
You will cream in your jeans when you see.
Nobody wants to see, but everyone will watch. Yes, it's Christmas with the Jokers. And now let's welcome our host, the Clown Prince of Christmas.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Peace Bridge right now because that's been an issue that's been bugging me just as much as anything else around here, along with the so-called Buffalo radio stations. You know, we're talking about this Peace Bridge issue again, you know, and we're showing you these pictures here. See, this is what we want over here, folks. This is what we want, and this is what Canada keeps trying to cram down our throats over here. Now, I hear a lot of these morons out there who say, well, it's just a bridge. You know, that's like saying the Brooklyn Bridge in Brooklyn, New York is just a bridge. And they say like the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco is just a bridge. They say the London Bridge in London, New York, London, England, which eventually went to Arizona, it's just a bridge. Those are signature bridges. I can't tell you how many times I've watched new programs like Charmed or seen Dirty Harry movies with Clint Eastwood, which are based in San Francisco, and time after time after time, one of the first things they show is the Golden Gate Bridge all the time. It's the same thing with any movie made in New York City. One of the first things they do is they show the bridge from Brooklyn, New York over there. And in London, England, when they had the London Bridge over there, they do the same thing over there. This basically shows you, folks, how hypocritical and evil and lying and deceiving and everything else these people are. I'm just so really upset about this to no end about this. There's no excuse for this thing. This should have been done years ago, and then they're sitting here talking about shared border management. I'm going to have to go with Congressman Brian Higgins on this one, and don't tell me you don't have the money for it. If Brian Higgins can scrape up over $200 million to get this bridge going over here, I'm sure they can scrape up some money around here to get these houses moved around here. And you could talk to preservationists and historical people and environmentalists, and talking about Fort Erie side for a moment there. They talk about how they have some historical areas of their own. They're sensitive and environmentally sensitive and all that. That's why you got preservationists and environmentalists over here. You could talk to them. You could scoop up that area gently and put it. Then you preserve that. Or don't you people ever think about these sort of things when you're busy doing all this crap? And as I said, there's plenty of empty building on the west, coming back to the west side on Buffalo now. I live in that area, folks. I can tell you, it isn't as great as an area as everybody tries to make it out to be. The only thing they got going there is Front Park over there. And they've been slowly, but in Canada and Fort Erie have been slowly but surely eating that away and trying to destroy that. But I'm talking about the neighborhoods and the houses there. Like I said before, there's plenty of trucks and everything that's something you're going to have to work out with these people. Because this is ridiculous, This is one of the main reasons why this bridge is taking so damn long to get going on here. And like I said before, and people sitting there saying, well, this is just a bridge. This isn't some building that you just whip up in 30 seconds over here. This is something we have to look at for the next at least 2 or 3 generations, for about 75 years. But I guess these people are going to sit here and they're going to wait until the bridge just gets too old to be able to support anything. And one historic day, like a holiday on like the 4th of July or New Year's Day or Christmas or something like that, when hundreds of people are crossing that bridge at one time, the bridge is just going to get too old to support its weight anymore. It's just going to collapse. I guess this is what everybody's waiting for this bridge to collapse and kill hundreds of people. If that's what you're waiting for, don't worry. It's only a matter of time for it, because the bridge is getting old. So don't worry about it. But still, you could still be getting a decent looking bridge like this. This is something that would last a lifetime for everybody here. On Fort Erie side as well as Buffalo side. But that's what this issue is really about. It's about ownership rights to the bridge. It isn't about where the plaza is going to be. That's just another piece in the chessboard over here. And they're talking about they're so afraid the birds are going to be damaged over here. Birds run on self-preservation. They run on instinct. They always follow the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance. So it stands to reason, and on top of that, you act like this bridge is going to be just whipped up in 2 seconds flat, and it's going to suddenly interrupt the birds' migration patterns and whatever. This bridge is going to be taking about a year to get built, and so birds are going to have enough time to see that it's going to be built. They're going to make the necessary adjustments in their migration patterns. So already I've destroyed one myth about this thing, alleviated their fears about this thing. I've already talked to you about the money situation. Both sides have combined for a total of close to $500 million, $500 million to get this bridge project going over here. So money is definitely not the project. Environmental issues, like I said before, you got to talk about the preservationist, the environmentalist. Work with them, try to find vacant buildings and find a way to dig these sensitive areas up. It's called creative. It's being creative here, folks. If I can figure this stuff out, and I'm not college educated, you would think some of these brain deads out here who have all these college degrees over here could figure this out. This shows you how stupid everybody is. It's not just so stupid, they're not really stupid, they're really smart. They've been planning for this thing for years. It's been one constant struggle over here for ownership rights to this bridge. And that's and about Sergeant Slaughter, who's this side. That's what Canada's hoping for, because they're given another leverage point to have the claim that they own this bridge. And like I said, I'm going to have to go with Brian Higgins on. Like I said, these people have lied and deceived on this thing. 10 years ago, when I first got involved with this issue, sort of like the so-called Buffalo radio station issue I've been involved with for all these years. In 1999, I got involved with this thing, And they're over here saying, well, we came up with this bridge design. And before I continue on that, let me explain another thing about how evil these people are. They pull yet another trick out of their sleeves over here, and they pull a disappearing act for about 6 months to a year, you know. You don't see or hear anything from these people for 6 months to a year. And you don't see or hear anything from 6 months to a year from these people. Then after about 6 months, when you're living your daily mundane lives and all that, and you're not paying any attention to this thing, all of a sudden these people just come up all of a sudden and say, here, and they hold this thing up and say, here, we found the bridge design, and they act like this, they're holding up the 10 Commandments over here, you know. And it's the same damn bridge design that we rejected year after year after year. The same goddamn bridge design that we keep rejecting every damn year on this thing. This is another one of the evil tactics on this thing. They disappear, they pull a disappearing act, they disappear for 6 months to a year, and then when you figure everybody's forgotten about them all the time, then they suddenly spring up and say, here we go, folks, this is the bridge design we've always wanted, and it's the same goddamn thing we've been rejected for all these years. And as soon as we bring this up, then they start stammering on, well, people didn't want to vote for this one. No, people didn't want to vote for this. They want a twin span. They want a duplicate bridge. It's up to you folks, you know. You got a chance to do something intelligent over here. And like I told you before, this is more than just a bridge. This is something that, this is the bridge for 2 countries here. It does not belong to Canada only on this thing. I am really tired of Canada coming over here and thinking this bridge belongs only to them. And the reason why they think of that, because of here's a little history lesson here on this. Way back about 10 years after the original Peace Bridge was built, the so-called Peace Bridge, apparently some U.S. government official got caught with his pants down, so to speak. He got caught. And ever since then, Canada's been lording it over us on this thing, and in the interest of peace, so-called peace, you know, we've had to capitulate to these people, give up to these people, and basically just say this bridge belongs to them. And that was like about 60, 70 years ago, and here it is over in the year 2009 now, and we're still fighting with them. This issue, we started talking about this thing way back in about 1980 or so, about getting a new bridge ready over here. And for the last 20 years about this, 20, 30 years on this thing, we've been trying to tell them, you know, let's do something right. You would think, and on top of that, you know, I want to say something else about this now. You know, I've said this once before, you know, just because somebody lives next door to you does not mean you're going to be a good neighbor. Does not mean they're going to be a good neighbor or you're going to be a good neighbor. I can't tell you how many times I've seen TV newscasts and heard on the radio about how people living next door to some people did commit some violent acts, became a child molester like that, and the first response we get from the people next door that were living next to these people, these evil people here, was, well, we used to know them for years. We lived next door to them for years. We didn't know they were like this. It's the same situation with this Peace Bridge issue right now. Same thing with Canada. And it's amazing, folks, that we've shown you this here, and if you know, we've shown you how evil these people really are, and you people still insist upon going to Tim Hortons or buying the Bat's Brewski, like Buffalo Brewski isn't good enough for you. And you know, you keep supporting this stuff. And like I said, that's up to you folks. I mean, I've done all I can do to tell you the facts about this thing. They would like to tell you that we're the goddamn people that were causing this delay over here. No, we're not causing the delay. We've already decided on what we wanted on this thing. This is what we chose about this thing, and this is what they keep trying to fight with us on this thing. So you tell me which bridge looks better on this. We've come up with design after design after design that are miles better than this piece of crap right here. Tons better. It'd be a tourist attraction. It would generate so much income, and if the people on the west side of Buffalo would be as smart as they say they are, they would start putting some small businesses in there to start getting the thing nurtured and ready to go. But nobody wants to listen. They all want to turn a deaf ear to everything about this. They're basically the OJ of Canada. Fort Erie is basically the OJ of Canada. Hey, let's ignore the facts. Let's ignore the mountain of evidence we got here. Let's ignore all this mountain of evidence here. Hey, we're OJ, you know. Let's just build a twin span, you know. I'm OJ, you know. Let's build a twin span. Hi, I'm OJ, you know. Let's just build a twin span. I'm OJ, you know. Now, the choice is yours, folks. Because just remember, folks, you're going to have to look at this thing for the next several generations. And you're going to be if you're sitting there and decide to root for this thing, don't look for Hollywood to come over here and start sending movies out over here. Unless you want to be the joke, be in some comedy movie, and then use this bridge design as a big joke. We got a chance here to be on a par with San Francisco, California, New York City, London, England, France, and every other city and country in this world that has a beautiful looking bridge. We got a chance to be on a par with them. And because people can't put aside their issues and their differences, they talk about homeland security, that should become a no-brainer for both sides. You both want security for this thing. The rules are going to have to be adjusted here. Some compromises are going to have to be made. Some sacrifices are going to have to be made. But nobody wants to listen to that. They just want to plug their ears, and they want to puff up their chest, and they want to think, well, this is just Canada's bridge only. Well, it's not. It belongs to both countries, and you're going to have to work with us on this thing. Choice is yours. But I'll tell you right now, don't think God's just going to give you a hearty slap in the back and say, hey, well done. You've lied to my creation. You lied to my people. You've lied to the birds and the bees and the oceans and the trees. You've lied to everybody like that. Welcome to heaven. God doesn't let liars into heaven, people. That's a biblical statement. You've already violated one of the 10 commandments already. Thou shalt not bear false witness. So you've already lied to yourselves about this thing. So you want to keep going on this, you keep going on this. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't see this bridge design, if we don't see this one built, this right here, if we don't see this coming up, then you people are the ones that have been played for suckers, not me. Because me, Brian Higgins, all the mayors of Buffalo, past and present, the governors of New York, past and present, even a president or two has caught up on this thing. The only people who haven't gotten on the bandwagon with this thing is Fort Erie, and they're all pissing and moaning, having a pissing contest about this thing because somebody from the United States came up with the idea first. And now they're all jealous and all pissed off and upset, and they still don't want to get this bridge. That's why we can't get this. That's why we can't get this thing going like this. They're still trying to cram this down our throats. Take a look at it for yourselves to see what's going on. Don't take my word for this. Look at it yourselves. Look at the evidence yourself. We've had seminars after seminars after seminars, people meeting after meeting after meeting on this thing, and this is the best they can come up with. So, like I said, the choice is yours, folks. You could sit here and you sit in your fat butts and do nothing and whine and moan about this afterwards, or you can take a stand on this thing, take a stand up on this thing. And you have to be a lot more compelling. Well, you have to do it because it's the right thing. Why is the right thing to do? You're going to have to put a lot more energy into this and just say, well, you can't do it like that because it's wrong. Why is it wrong? I can tell you right now, this is wrong on so many levels. This is wrong on so many levels. This could be benefiting both countries here, and they want to ignore that and do this. So, from here, like I said, the choice is here on out is yours. You see the designs here, you make the choice. You decide what you want. Because all Canada wants is just the bridge. They think this is just a bridge. And they got a lot of brain deads out there believing all this crap they tell them. I used to be one of them, but no longer. So it's time for you to start owning up and ponying up here and start paying attention to this. This issue is going to be affects you more importantly than even the downtown project can affect you. Any project that downtown will offer pales in comparison to what this is going to offer you. The choices are yours. used to be a science store on Grant Street near Buffalo State College. It's closed down now. Closed down about 2005 or so, 2004, 2005. But for years it was open, and they had a top 10 list. I used to pass by once a week or so, and every week I used to take a look at it, and they always had this top 10 list on there. And about number 3 or 4 on the list was build the damn bridge. You know, and that's what pisses me off about the brain deads in Buffalo over here. You see, these people seem to think a bridge is the same thing like a building. It's not, folks. It's a far cry different thing than a building. Because this bridge is going to have to be staying in one place for years, at least 75 years. We're going to have to look at that thing for at least 3 or 4 generations. But God forbid no wars that happen to blow the bridge up, because all it's going to take is one nuclear missile to wipe the bridge out. Then you'll have to start from scratch all over again. So, you know, the brain deads in the city say, build the damn bridge. You know, I share your frustration, people of Buffalo. I know how hard this is to be patient and wait for this thing. And I'm going to try to do what I can to help move this thing along a little bit more. Because if there's one thing I'm good at, it's moving the pile. Count on that right now. Because this Peace Bridge thing has been dragging on for too many years. And the only reason it's not been... And unfortunately, you know, I wish we could have gone on with this thing a lot sooner. But unfortunately, these people, Canada decided they wanted to dictate terms to us and tell us what bridge we think, Buffalo thinks should be there. And basically all of this is just Canada's idea what that bridge should be. If they had been more honest with us and been more respectful toward Buffalo and treated us with a little bit more intelligence and honor and so forth like that, this bridge might have been we might have been starting to talk about construction of this bridge already. But all they wanted was some piece of crap here they wanted to look at. I feel, as I've said before, I feel Buffalo's pain. We've had this has problems before on this thing. We've talked about this over and over again. We've had bridge designs over and over again. We've talked about what bridge designs could work, should be used instead of just twin span. And all Canada wants to do is ignore us and just pretend we don't exist and just.
Hold on, Charlie. Tip. Here's a tip. Get a real job.
And I've said this before, and I probably have done on my TV shows, but I'm going to repeat this again. Basically, there's about 5 things, at least 5 things here that are going to meet your criteria to see how good of a president you are based on your presidential campaign here. 1 is talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words, I'll believe it when I see it done, put your money where your mouth is, and by the fruits of your actions, you'll know what kind of president you really are. Basically, what kind of president you are, what kind of changes you're going to make, and how you make those changes. It's going to depend basically on what you change and how you're going to go about changing it. We're going to find out in the next 4 years just what kind of 5 criteria that I mentioned. Talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words, I'll believe it when I see it done, put your money where your mouth is, and by the fruits of your actions, it will be known what kind of person you are, what kind of person you are. As I said, it all depends on what you change and how you're going to make those changes. Because that's all I've been hearing here is how the things that we need to change around here, and that's true after 40 years of the good old country boy stuff here. It's nice, it's refreshing to get a president, and they're going to be even more scrutinized than usual about what happens here from here on out. So the ball's basically in your court here. And, you know, if you follow the precepts I told you, talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words, I'll believe it when I see it done by you, put your money where your mouth is, and by the fruits of your actions, you will be known what kind of a person and president you really are. As I've said again, you make those changes. So, good luck, and
It's not square and it's not round, and it won't fit through the door. Is it cold that when you drown? I did not know that you could ride. Gone above makes no sense at all. Gone above, kick me when I fall. Gone above makes no sense at all. Gone above, kick me when I fall. Give it half a chance. Give it half a chance, and you won't know me anymore, because I'll piss it on the floor. Through the wall you make no sound. Not for me, I would be found. Gone above makes no sense at all. Gone above, kick me when I fall. Gone above makes no sense at all. Gone above, kick me when I fall. If given half a chance, if given half a chance, and you won't see me anymore, because I won't fit in the room. Through the wall you make no sound. If given half a chance, I cannot find you through the crowd. Gone above makes no sense at all. Gone above, kick me when I fall. Gone above makes no sense at all. Gone above, kick me when I fall. If given half a chance, if given half a chance.
Tune in again next time for another episode from Dumb Tar, Monster of the Parking Lot. Dumb Tar, Monster of the Parking Lot. Dumb Tar, Monster of the Parking Lot. Dumb Tar, Monster of the Parking Lot.
Contact in 2-time period.
This planet should comb its hair over its bald spot.
View in second quadrant. Contact in 1-time period.
You know, that's one butt-ugly planet you guys come from.
View in first quadrant at ionization.
Ew, it's Michael Stipe's head.
What you're observing may well be the beginning.
Stipe's head.
What you're observing may well be the beginning of the end for our world.
I hope so.
Those airborne meteors are beginning to get...
What kind of shithole planet is this?
That's enough. Normal view. Normal view. Normal view. Normal view. Normal view.
Bullshit or not? We examine these mysteries to determine, are they bullshit or not? Our bullshit team has unearthed spectacular new evidence, which
London surgeon, perhaps a member of British royalty.
well, our bullshit team has unearthed spectacular new evidence, which suggests should I take this job for a quick buck?
We may never know the answer to these questions.
Next week, Scotland? Should I take this job for a quick buck?
We may never know the answer to these questions.
Next week, Titanic. Bullshit or not? You be the judge, here on this station.
No further commercial interruptions.
Bullshit or not? Hey, cut the...
It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. You want to claim this land as a land of the free? Then the symbol of your country cannot just be a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Now show me that. Defend that. Celebrate that in your classrooms. Then you can stand up and sing about the land of the free. I've known Bob devote so much time and energy to shouting at the rain was that he simply didn't get it. Well, I was wrong. Bob's problem isn't that he doesn't get it. Bob's problem is that he can't sell it. We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them. And whatever your particular problem is, I promise you, Bob Rumson is not the least bit interested in solving it. He is interested in two things, and two things only: making you afraid of it and telling you who's to blame for it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win elections. You gather a group of middle-aged, middle-class, middle-income voters who remember with longing an easier time, and you talk to them about family and American values and character. And you wave an old photo of the president's girlfriend, and you scream about patriotism. You tell them she's to blame for their lot in life. And you go on television, and you call her a whore.
My dear boy, that is you, isn't it?
Enough. Not quite yet. It's called the agony matrix. Direct neural stimulation of pain receptors. All of them. Imagine the worst pain you've ever felt in your life, times 1,000. Now imagine that pain continuing forever. Oh, that's right. You don't have to imagine.
Talk about character and American values, fine. Just tell me where and when, and I'll show up. This is a time for serious people, Bob, and your 15 minutes are up. My name is...
Think of something. Use the power of our giant manly brains.
No, that takes too long.
Use the power of our giant manly brains.
No, that takes too long.
Imagine.